Harry Tubman Elementary, LSC, at 6:08. We will start with roll call. When I call your name, please state your role and your name and your role on the LSC. I'll start with Emily. I'll come back to her. She's driving home. Sarah,
Sarah Shelton, parent rep.
thank you. Eliana,
Liliana Inserni, parent rep.
Cindy,
Cindy Watola, parent rep.
Lori,
Beats, Lori Beats, parent rep.
Sharice,
Sharice Brooks, paraprofessional.
Emily,
While we're waiting, who are we missing? Nick Hall, and then I'm not familiar with everyone else. Sorry. So who is missing? Anyone? Anyone know the name of our community rep?
We are missing Robert. He's the community rep. I'll get you his last name because I'm not sure right now.
Thanks, Eliana. Okay.
I'm sorry, everyone. We're going to have to wait. It looks like Emily dropped off the call. We'll give her a moment to see if she reconnects.
Hey Cindy, for record keeping purposes, I found Robert's last name. If you're ready for me to spell it, I can't, the chat's disabled right now. It's Daigeneau, Janyo. Do you need it one more time?
Yeah, one more time. Sorry.
D
D.
A I
Yep.
Aigeneau.
Got it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see Emily has returned. Emily, can you state your name and your role on the council, please? While we wait, my name is Kimberly Gibson, and I am principal of Harriet Tubman. And I'd just like to take time to thank each one of you for joining us at our organizational meeting.
Okay. Does this work? Emily Holbert, teacher rep. I'm so sorry. I was in between my car phone speaker and then coming to the house, and I kept getting kicked off. Apologies.
Thank you, Emily. Now we will move to selection of a temporary chairperson. Do we have any volunteers or any nominations?
Really quick, Sarah Ogeto's trying to get on the call. Can you let her in?
That would be Ms. Holbert, and I'll recognize Ms. Ford at this time.
Okay.
Sorry. Quick point of order. The meeting should be recorded, so we have to remember to record.
Thank you for that reminder. Ms. Holbert, can you start the recording?
Yes, I'm looking for it on my phone. Just bear with me, unless Miss Ford, you know exactly where it is on the iPhone. Mr. Hall usually does the recording, so I'm looking for it. I'm sorry, I was unaware that I had that role tonight.
So if you created it, you have to do it from your desktop. I've never been able to record from my phone. I've tried.
Okay, I did not create the link. Ms. Gibson, with a CPS email, are you able to record it by chance?
Let's see.
Whoever created the link should be able to.
Okay, I did not create the link, so.
I did not either.
Oh.
Okay. What you can do in the interim, just someone that is on the call can just do an audio record, but the open meeting has to be recorded. So if someone has another device.
I can get on the laptop real quick as well if we need. Let me just.
I could record.
Okay, awesome. Teamwork makes the dream work. Look at that.
Thank you, Cindy. All right, we're gonna move on to the selection of a temporary chairperson.
Emily, did you see Sarah was trying to get in?
I did not. I did not see that since I've been back on.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry.
While you're
swear
at it,
I was going to be more prepared, but traffic was bad getting back with the girls from but when people are like, it pops up and I press admit, but I haven't seen that in the past few minutes for anybody. Oh, there it is. Got it.
Okay.
Eliana, are you volunteering?
No, I have a question for Ms. Ford. Given that this organizational meeting has to happen on or before tomorrow, and we still have some vacancies on our LSC, is there a way? I know we could elect a temporary chairperson, because I feel, and I don't know if this is possible, I've gone over like all the bylaws and haven't seen something specific about this, but I feel that we should wait until we have all our vacancies filled to decide or vote on the chairperson.
Ms. Ford, I'll recognize you to respond to Eliana.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much. So in the organizational meeting, we're required to select a chair and a secretary. All the other offices you can have seated at another meeting. But the statute says we should be selecting a chair and a secretary at minimum at the organizational meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Ford, for clearing that up for everyone. If there is no one volunteering to continue to be the temporary chairperson, I'll volunteer to continue to chair until we elect one.
Okay.
Okay. We do need to have the selection of a temporary secretary. Are there any volunteers?
Can I
Sorry.
nominate
I'm
myself
driving.
for now?
I'm driving. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, it's Lori. I can't be polite and raise my hand. I thought that the chair, even the temporary one, doesn't the chair have to be a parent rep?
Not for temporary chair. It's just the person to lead the meeting until we get to the election part
Okay.
for the nominations. Okay, thank you.
I'll volunteer as temporary secretary.
Thank you,
until we-
Cindy. Cindy will be our temporary secretary. Now we will move on to the approval of the agenda. When I call your name, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Now we will move on to nominations and selection of a chairperson.
Do we need to vote?
We are, I'm going to recognize Ms. Ford. Ms. Ford,
Yeah, we just need to vote. You had the motion and the second.
I'm
Now
sorry.
take the vote. Yep.
Let's vote on the motion to approve. When I call your name, respond by aye. Emily,
Aye.
Sharice,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Ileana,
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Lori, and Principal Gibson, aye. The motion to approve the agenda is carried. Now we will move on to the nomination and the selection of our chairperson. The chairperson will lead the meetings and work along with the principal to design the agendas at meetings and also will sign off on approvals for votes by the LSC. Are there any nominations for chairpersons?
I nominate Sarah Ogetto.
That is not a member of the LSC. I'm sorry, Cindy, you cannot nominate her. She is not an LSC member.
But I thought because we're down reps, that at this meeting we could nominate from outside.
No, you have to nominate a current parent rep.
Again, it's Lori. I'm driving on Lakeshore Drive. I said I couldn't do this meeting, but I'm here for you. Okay, so the four of us that are on right now, we need to agree who wants to be, even if we decide to be temporary chair, and then I know it's on the agenda tonight, when the last two positions are filled, we can always, if whoever took it tonight doesn't want to continue, they could resign, and we could have another vote. Ms. Ford, am I correct in that?
I just raised my hand. Can I address?
I see your hand, Ms. Ford. I'm just waiting for the person to mute who was speaking so we can hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm driving like.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no problem. It's just we can't hear some feedback.
Yeah, no worries. So you can elect a temporary chair at this meeting, and then the next meeting do a permanent chair. So we need a chair. So
We can
This
also
is-
do a permanent chair at this meeting, correct, Ms.
right,
Ford?
you can do both. We have some councils that they're undecided, so each month they renew a temporary chair for each meeting. It's recommended to do a permanent, but you can do a temporary chair at this meeting, and then at the next do a permanent chair. But you need a chair. We need a chair. The principal can't continue to run the meeting. So a parent needs to either do a motion to be a permanent chair, or we need a motion for a temporary chair for this meeting. That's a parent.
I motion for Sarah Shelton to be chair. Sarah,
Hi, I was actually going to motion to nominate Ileana Incerni as temporary chair.
I also nominate
Second
Ileana
that.
Incerni as temporary chair.
I would second that.
Ms. Ford.
Which which motion got a second? Because the motion that got a second, then you called a vote. So I'm there was so
I
much.
couldn't hear because people were talking all at the same time. Ms. Ford.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out because there were three motions. Yours did not get a second. There were two other motions, and one got a second. I don't know for who, which parent it was.
The second was for Ileana Incerni.
Got it. Okay, so you have a motion and a second, so that one needs to be called for a vote.
All right, we will
And
call.
the parent needs to accept. So I don't know if she's here. Does she accept? We're gonna make you the president whether you want to or not. I apologize. Do you accept?
I'll accept to be temporary chairperson until we discuss as a group on our next meeting.
Okay, we will put this to a vote. Emily,
Yes.
Sarah,
Aye.
Ileana,
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Lori, Lori, we couldn't hear your vote.
Hey, Lori, we couldn't hear that. Can you do one more time?
All right, I'm gonna get all of my children killed here. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, aye.
Cherise,
Aye.
and my vote will be an aye. Ileana, you are our temporary chairperson. At this time, you will be taking over the meeting.
Okay, thank you. So now our next point is the nomination and selection of the secretary. We already have our temporary secretary. Is there any nomination for a permanent secretary? Sarah?
I nominate Cindy Watola, excuse me, as permanent secretary.
Does anyone second that motion or have any other nominee?
I second.
Okay, so now we're gonna vote on this. Ms. Holbert?
I'm sorry, I was switching from getting my desktop set up. What was the name put forth?
Cindy Watola.
Oh, yes.
I'm
I
so
vote yes.
sorry for interrupting, but let's
This
make
is-
sure the parent accepts the nomination first.
Yeah, sorry. Cindy, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do. I'm not good at this, you guys. I'm pretty much the worst secretary ever, but yes, I'll do it. Thanks.
Thank you, Cindy. So, Sarah?
Aye.
Ms. Brooks?
Aye.
Principal Gibson?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
And it's a yes from me too. So Cindy Watola is elected as the secretary. our official secretary. Now we would have, our next point would be nominations and selection for a vice chair. This is an optional position, but is there anyone that wants to nominate a fellow member as a vice chair? Sarah?
I motion to defer the election of the vice chair until all vacant seats on the LSC have been filled. I don't know if that's allowed, but that's putting it out there.
Principal Gibson?
Ms. Ford, correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't have to vote on a vice chair during this meeting. It's optional.
Correct. So Sarah does have a motion on the floor to table this until the next meeting when all vacancies are filled. So we can either, if there's no second for her motion, then it just dies. And if you all are not going to do that election of a vice president, you can just move on.
I second.
Okay, the next points are nomination and selection of oh, sorry. Yes, Ms. Ford?
Sorry. So it's been moved and properly seconded. So now you want to take a vote on the motion to table the selection of a vice chair until all vacancies are filled. That was her motion.
My apologies. Okay.
No
so
worries.
in the,
No worries. That's why
I wasn't ready for this.
it's no
In
worries.
the selection of the vice chair, an optional vote, the motion is to, as you said, table it until our next meeting. So let's vote. Sarah?
Aye.
Ms. Hulbert?
Is it up for discussion? I
Aye.
can raise my hand.
Oh, I didn't see you. I'm sorry, Principal
Mhm.
Gibson. Okay, is there anyone that wants to discuss anything about the vice chair position?
Yes, I would just like to request Sarah amend it to, we'll table voting to next meeting, not necessarily till we fill all vacancies.
So Sarah, Principal Gibson is suggesting an amendment to your motion to make the vote if we're going to vote on a vice chair on the next meeting and not wait until all the vacancies are filled.
I'll let Cindy speak. I want to hear what she has to say and then I can share.
Because our next meeting will be the beginning of the school year and we won't have had a chance to kind of get the lay of the land, I would like to hold on to the way the motion has been presented as is until all of our vacancies have been filled.
I agree. I would be more comfortable until we have all seats filled so that we know who we want in place as our officers.
Okay, I agree. We can have time to talk to more people and get them to join. You can go ahead with the vote, Ileana.
Okay, so the motion to table the vote of the vice chair until all vacancies are filled. Sarah?
Aye.
Ms. Hulbert?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Laurie. Ms. Brooks?
I,
Principal Gibson?
Aye.
Okay, so the motion passed to wait for this vice chair vote. The next item on the agenda is a nomination and selection of officers, which are also, yes, Principal Gibson?
Hi, I just wanted to share during the meeting that Mr. Hall agreed to stay on as our FOIA and OMA. We can select a second person if we choose to as a council, or we can leave it as he stands because currently there's no vacancy in that role. So I just wanted to inform you guys of that.
Okay, so with that information, I would motion to wait for that vote also until our next meeting. So Mr. Hall has the opportunity to reiterate that he is willing to continue on that position since he's not here today.
Are you motioning it?
Yeah, that's the
I
motion.
second that motion.
So now we vote on that motion. Sarah,
Aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
thank you, Lori. Ms. Brooks,
I,
Principal Gibson,
Aye.
and that's a yes for me too. Okay.
And Emily, yes.
Oh,
Aye.
sorry, Ms. Hulbert.
It's okay.
Yes, Ms. Ford?
No, I was just gonna mention Emily, but
Sorry,
she
sorry.
spoke. I'm sorry.
Thank you. The next one is the nomination and selection of a sergeant at arms. That's also optional. I'm not familiar if who was on that role, if there was anybody on the past LSC. So Ms. Gibson, can you bring some light to this?
Yes, when I joined, there was no one in August who had that role. We just put it on there as optional.
Mac Laboon was our sergeant at arms, our
Oh.
former community rep.
Had no idea.
Yeah, it was Mac. So he's moved out of the area. So maybe we'll make a motion to also table this vote until all vacancies are filled.
I would second that motion, Cindy. So now we vote. Sarah,
Aye.
Ms. Holbert,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
okay, thank you. Ms. Brooks,
I,
Principal Gibson,
Aye.
and it's a yes for me too. Okay, so the next item is to set the regular meeting schedule for the school year. This is obviously open up for discussion because right now they're set for first Wednesday, I think, second Wednesday of the month. Second, right? Like the previous.
So actually, they had been the first Wednesday.
Mhm.
I do have a couple of suggestions during discussion. I wanted to share this since we are trying to fill the vacancies, including a student rep,
Mhm.
that we discussed having some of the meetings virtual and some of them in person. I also suggested some of the meeting dates be learning walks. And another suggestion is to possibly move it to the second Wednesday of the month, maybe with the exception of August, having it August 3rd might be possible for virtual meetings. But I would like to suggest some dates and times of virtual, in person, and times for learning walks for the discussion.
I see your hand, Mr. Sty.
Thank you. Yes, just for clarification, the council may meet virtually for as long as there is a health declaration issued by the governor. Once that health emergency declaration is over, then as public body, you will need to start meeting in person. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, thank you. If we set up our meetings some in person and some virtual, and then that declaration is eliminated, are those meetings automatically would turn into in-person, right? Mrs.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. Ford? Oh,
Carolina addressed it. I'm done.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, is there any other discussion or reaction to what's proposed by Principal Gibson? Yeah, Ms. Holbert?
Miss Gibson, can you clarify? I mean, I think I know what you mean as a teacher, but can you clarify for the others what you mean by the learning walk?
Yes, us going as a team, being able to visit classrooms, observe the learning that's going on across grade levels, particularly coming up with as a team something that we're looking for in the classrooms with a purpose. I know it's been a long time since parents, especially our entire LSC, since I've been principal, we've never had an in-person meeting. While we're still having discussion, Ms. Ford, is it possible for us as a council to vote for some of these in-person meetings? We're still allowing people to be virtual if necessary. So we can have a hybrid model, because I did receive some from my mentor principals of examples of what they're doing.
I raised my hand, so I wanted to make sure I was recognized by the chair.
Yeah, Ms. Ford.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I just wanted to make sure I understood. So you want the LSC meeting to be a learning walk or have space for that? Because I'm not necessarily sure that's something that you structure within an LSC meeting. Now, if you want to do learning walks and invite parents, that's something different than what happens in LSC meetings. LSC meetings are open to the public, so unless it's I don't know. Tell me more what you're thinking behind that. Maybe I'm misinterpreting the request or the ask.
The ask is just one or two of the meetings could possibly be not only a LSC meeting, but where we open up to the public learning walks, where LSC members, along with anybody who came to attend the LSC meeting, because it is a public open forum, can attend visiting classrooms, similar kind of like a school tour, but being able to go in and seeing what some of the students are learning.
So you can do that separate and apart from an LSC meeting. That's not like LSC meetings aren't the forum, isn't the really correct forum to do that. You could still do it, but not in the framework of an LSC meeting. You're free to do learning walks with your community and invite LSC members and whomever you want, but it should. That's not what. Not
Okay.
the business that takes place in the LSC meeting.
Okay, and can you clarify my other question about if we vote as a council to have some meetings in person?
So as Carolina was saying, the governor's disaster order gets re-upped every 30 days. So right now we're still under that order. What we've advised councils to schedule them out for in-person, and that on a monthly basis, you notify your communities if it's going to be virtually or not. Because at some point, the governor is not going to keep reissuing. And so to be on the safe side, it's advisable to generally schedule them out as in person. So when he stops the order, you don't have to go back and reinstitute and notify the community all over. The governor's disaster order allows the chair on this monthly basis that he issues the disaster order to call the meeting as a virtual one. The chair has that authority while we're still under the disaster order. So the next disaster order, the next governor's executive order is supposed to be issued at the end of July. And so we very closely monitor to see if it's going to be extended for another 30 days. It's usually around the 25th or the 26th. So I would recommend schedule them out as in person, as before you schedule the meetings. If the disaster order is still in effect, when you post your notice, it's a virtual meeting. If that's what the chair decides, that we continue to move in that way under that order.
Thank you.
Cindy?
Um, yeah, if we feel like, how does the council feel right now in terms of the probability that with new variants coming across that that it'll be lifted? I don't know if I'm as hopeful as Ms. Ford is, but, I mean, either way, we either schedule them out virtually and then announce that we've been given the go-ahead for in-person.
Mhm.
And then in our bylaws, we do address the legalities around meeting in person and the expectations of that. And I think we're going to get to that, I think maybe tonight. I'm not sure. And then I'd like the idea of like the learning walks, but I too think, that's tough to vote while you're walking around and just kind of doing the, you know, approval of agenda minutes and all that kind of stuff. But I think, yes, definitely if we're allowed in the building as a council members to be invited in to see what's happening in our classrooms. That's all.
Sarah?
Thank you for sharing those thoughts, Cindy. I echo that. I think in moving forward in how we're planning, I do want us as a council to be mindful of people who have disabled and immunocompromised folks in their household. So if we can stay virtual, I I would be all for that. I do like the idea of learning walks and being able to observe in classrooms when possible. But in terms of moving forward with LC meetings, I think it's more accessible to a lot of people in the community to keep the meetings virtual if we can.
Ms. Holbert?
I echo what Sarah said about the virtual meetings. And I think having gone to LSC meetings in person in the past before COVID, that attendance has been higher since virtual in terms of staff members, when it's not summer at least, and parents, and people juggling kids and dinner and things of that nature, myself included. I prefer and not formally vote, but vote that we stay virtual at this time.
Cindy? And then Principal Gibson?
Yeah, we addressed this last year in the bylaws because it was such a new thing, how do we, how do we remain virtual and how can we kind of put that in our bylaws to try and remain virtual? Because we felt the same way, the attendance, tripled, quadrupled being virtual. However, we passed this through CPS legal and they're still holding firm that if the disaster order is lifted, that meetings by law have to be back in person.
Sorry, I can't politely raise my hand because I'm on the phone in the car. This is Lori. I highly recommend. I believe in the same reasons everybody else does. Our school does not provide childcare. That meetings are so much more accessible when they're remote. And I know that the disaster order we've already discussed, but many LSCs are working as a team to get it passed that even after the disaster order, that we allow these meetings to be remote because we've all learned that they're much more successful when we're able to have full participation. So for the sake of discussion, I request that we stay remote and then we can address that in the future. And the same thing, the learning walks sound amazing, but they do not sound like an LSC meeting. We have way too much business to do and voting and things like that, that would probably not be accessible during a learning walk. I'm gonna mute again.
Principal Gibson?
Yes, after Ms. Ford spoke, I thought about the learner walks and we don't have it. I would like to get back to the proposal of us having LSC meetings the second Wednesday of the month. And I'll share because we have religious holidays. Also, the internal accounts is not reconciled to usually the second and sometime middle of the month. So our internal accounts is reconciled by CPS during that time. And in our previous meetings that we've had this previous year, it had not had reconciliation before sharing the internal accounts balance sheets. And moving forward, I would just like us to consider the second Wednesday of the month, with the only exception being for August, possibly August 3rd, because we are trying to come up with strategies to fill vacancies, and making sure we need to talk about advertising and inviting people, as well as we need to talk about when school starts, how to recruit a student rep, which is important for us to have on our LSC as an IB school, and as we're trying to teach our students to have more agency. And I know in August we have an administrative institute on August 10th, and it is really close to school starting. So I would like to propose that August 3rd be our first meeting date, and then the second Wednesday of the months to follow. And I'd like that to be up for discussion.
Sarah?
I'm open to that. The second Wednesday sounds fine to me. I'm just putting it out there if anyone would be open to moving. I know it's really tough weeknights, but moving the meeting later in the evening, shifting to 7 or 7:30. I know that 6 o'clock is a tricky time for a lot of people.
I would be very open to considering moving the time of the meeting. But again, it's what benefits most of the group.
While we're discussing it, I would just like to share administrators are usually in the building till 6, and we already stayed late to start the meeting at 6. Moving it to 7 would really cut into our family time, as well as teachers are also have families and are preparing for the next day of school.
Thank
I
you.
just want you guys to consider that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Miss Holbert?
I took my hand down. I could go either way because candidly 6, 7 is all busy for me. But I also prefer 7 just because 6 is sometimes hard for my childcare situation and my husband's work schedule. So I'm okay. I'm okay doing 6 or 7. So I just wanted to put that out there. And the second Wednesday of the month seems to be okay with me as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy?
Maybe we can split the baby. Just kidding. It's for 6:30. Does that help? Yeah, it makes sense to have the second Wednesday of the month. And as far as August 3rd being the first meeting, I'm on board with that as well.
Principal Gibson?
I just want to speak up again to remember we're also going to have a student rep who has to attend these meetings when we're choosing the time. And having it at 7 and knowing how some of our meetings go on an hour or two, I'm just concerned about the student as well. So I would just like to propose that we keep it at 6, not only considering myself, but considering we have a student rep on the council as well.
Yes, thank you, Principal Gibson. For my part, I'm open to any time, but I think we'll just all know that sometimes we might turn our camera off for a second to handle business. And I think we'll all we know what's going on. So is there a motion? Principal Gibson, can you share your motion again for regarding the meetings?
Yes, I would like to motion that we have LSC meetings at 6 p.m. On the following meeting dates: August 3rd, September 21st, October 12th, December 7th, January 11th, February 8th, March 8th, April 12th, and May 10th at 6 p.m.
Did you say November?
No, I didn't say November or June, because we have 1 week vacation in November and there's a lot of holidays. We will have two meetings in our, well, we'll have an LSC meeting, but we also will have the state of the school meeting in October. So because of that, I wanted to be mindful of families and people who are taking vacation for the Thanksgiving holiday. And
Okay.
then in June, we have graduation. It's usually 2 weeks. But if we need to meet for something after May 10th, that's like after budget, after CIWP, we can call a special meeting. That's something I noticed that a couple schools in our network are doing. It's just a proposal.
Will you read again? I got to, so December,
August 3rd,
yep.
September 21st, and that's because of the religious holidays in September, October 12th, December 7th, January 11th, February 8th, March 8th, April 12th, and May 10th.
Okay. Thank you. I guess I can second. Are we gonna? I second that the LSC meets at 6 p.m. on the following dates: August 3rd, September 21st, October 12th, December 7th, January 11th, February 8th, March 8th, April 12th, and May 10th.
Having that motion second, we'll go for a vote. Sarah,
Aye.
Ms. Holbert,
Aye.
Lori,
I,
Cindy,
Oh, one last thing. Are these virtual or these
Yes.
are virtual meetings?
un-
Right for now.
under the current executive order, if anything changes, it's been gonna be monitored every 30 days, and if anything changes, they will change to in person, or maybe we could talk about a hybrid, but that discussion will be had at the time if the executive order changes.
All right. Aye.
Principal Gibson,
Aye.
Ms. Brooks,
Aye.
and it's a yes for me too. So we have established our meeting schedule for the school year. The next point of this is the discussion and establishment of the process for filling the LSC vacancies we currently have. It's we need two more parent reps, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, two more parent reps, two more community members. No, one more community member, two parent reps, the student rep that we want to include. We have staff, right? So it's four. We have four vacancies. Anyone wants to discuss the process, or I don't know if Ms. Gibson, you want to elaborate on this?
Yes, I think we should really work as a LSC to try to recruit. I do know that we are having our back to school bash August 13th. We can send something as well in the September community blast to try to give new parents an opportunity to join, tell us why they want to join, post the position. And what we normally do, we post the position either for 30 or 45 days, take applications, and we invite the applicants to speak to the LSC and share why they want to join the LSC. And then following up, we take a vote.
Okay, according to that timeline you just mentioned, this would take us in like the school year, because it would then be by the September meeting, more or less, that we would be, or even maybe the October one. Well, unless we call a special meeting, right, to vote.
Well, in August, we're having a meeting August 3rd when there's more members present. We can talk about how we're going to post the position. And if it's for 30 days by our September meeting, it will already be posted. So we can invite those applicants, if we have any applicants, and can invite them to that September meeting.
Or we could, if we have them all before, we could host a special meeting so we could have our final vote on that September meeting. I just don't, I mean,
Well, we want to give 30, we want to allow time for new parents
New
to
parents. Yeah.
talk and possibly attend a meeting,
Mhm.
encourage them to attend a meeting, or at least meet us at the bash.
Mhm.
That's why we usually do 30 to 45 days to post it. I'm saying when more members are present, we could talk about the posting at the August meeting. We could table it, which is just in a couple weeks.
Okay. Any other discussion about this? Cindy?
Can we post it now?
So if we just said we want to wait till we have, more members present to vote on the chair, I don't see why we can't wait to our next meeting to then post it, because we need to talk about like what we're posting as a team. And we have barely have 7 today, and with our team of 9, I think it's fair to wait a couple weeks to post the positions.
Okay, I agree.
Could it be an option that we post, sorry, Ms. Holbert, could it be an option that we posted it as like for current parents to start thinking about it, and then we continue the discussion in terms of when the official timeline will come on our next meeting? I just wanted to get like the word out, because maybe recruiting current parents or community rep will take time, and we don't want to, again, I wouldn't want us to go until like October, November without filling these positions.
Well, I just wanted to share that if we're waiting to next meeting to try to vote on a chairperson and a co-chair, I don't see why we can't wait till August 3rd, again, where there's more meetings. And I hope our goal is to open this up to our entire school community. And if we're opening it up now, then it's just not bringing the equity piece that I think we want to represent, that we value not only our parents now, but our upcoming new parents. It'll be more fair if they hear it around the same time. If we're meeting August 3rd, we have an opportunity on August 13th to strategically talk it up during a community bash, as well as school starts August 22nd.
Okay.
And we should be able to have applicants again prior to that September meeting.
Sorry, I can't raise my hand, Lori. I don't think there's a problem with posting it now, starting to get feedback, because we know that community members, we're not saying we're taking a vote on August 3rd. We're not saying that we're limiting it and not inviting new people, but I think that there's nothing wrong with putting a statement out there that this is what we're looking for. The reason I don't want to push it out is that, like, for example, tonight, of the 3 dates that were available, I really am not available, but I'm pulled over and I'm trying to do this meeting. And so it's so hard with not having a full team. So the longer we have to advertise it, get that date out there. And I'm sorry, if you're excited to run, you're going to want to run when school starts. It's not going to take 2 months. So whatever we can do to get a full LSC, because we're more effective as a full team, and it gives us a buffer if somebody is not able to make a meeting. So I don't think we're cutting anybody off. I don't think we're not being equitable. We're just saying, let's start the process, because we know how long it can take. And if people are really excited, they'll apply right away. And then we have their applications and they're ready to go on the day we decide to have the meeting where they come and apply.
Thank you, Lori. Sarah?
I think Emily had her hand up first, actually.
Sorry, Emily?
It's
Ms. Holbert?
No, you can call me Emily. And thanks, Sarah. It's okay. But what I was going to say was similar to what Lori said, and what you had said for earlier, Ileana. It's just that we should start the process now. I also think that we could put out like the community blast email, like say, reminder, we're looking for LSC seats to fill, as well as our social media. I'm not even sure who runs our Facebook page these days. Charlotte, maybe. I don't even know. But just blasting it out, like, so that, as you others said, current parents could maybe, be interested, and then we could still promote it. We're not closing it necessarily. We could still promote it at the bash to new parents, but reiterating what others said, that we should probably just remind people that we have seats, and you as parent reps can maybe see if you can chat with some other parents and convince them to join us. Thanks.
Sarah? You're on mute, Sarah.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Just echoing some of the sentiments that have already been shared. I think unless the description is changing, the requirements and description are changing, I think it would be okay to post those now. I think, we should try to cast that net, get the word out there, and that doesn't mean we have to select the chair at the same time. We can still be really discerning and intentional about that. But I think, especially since people are out of town, they're not as quick to check email or check the school web page. I think if we get a head start, it gives more people time to catch up and get that information. So I don't see any harm, unless I'm missing something, um, in just getting the word out and posting it now.
Cindy?
Yeah, I think we have all of the verbiage that we need with LSC relations to, just to describe what each post is. So I think just for maybe just the first go around, just to sort of cast our net and see what happens. And I'm sure that we will have time to meet and talk face to face with parents as the school year begins. I don't assume that posting it this early that we're actually going to fill the positions. And even so, we're still going to have to talk about it, and that, and sort of. So anyway, yeah.
I'm sorry, Eliana. My hand was up before Cindy, but I'll let her go ahead
Oh,
and
I'm
talk.
sorry, Principal Gibson. Yeah, Principal Gibson.
I would just like to share again to get to the equity. Eliana, you shared just now, like once we get applicants, we could call a special meeting. And I guess that would be my argument of what makes me feel uncomfortable calling a special meeting when we get applications. So I would feel more comfortable if, we're thinking about this, let's change that. Let's state, okay, if we want to advertise it now, how long are we going to be collecting applications before we meet and discuss? If we have like to the September meeting, I'd be more comfortable. If we're gonna say, oh, let's post it now, and then based off your comment, when we get enough people, we'll just start calling applicants. That's not being fair to our new parents prior to school starting, because people can apply at any time, but how are we being fair to our incoming parents?
Yeah, I understand your concern, but my when I said about a special meeting, it was because of the schedule we just approved. Since my thing is like, I don't want it to linger until October, November. I think we could advertise it. We don't have to take action with, like, we can even just advertise it and not start collecting applications. We want to get people interested, or at least thinking about, hey, this is something that's coming up. I want to start thinking about it. Do I want to do this? And not start collecting applications. I don't think there would be an equity issue, because those new parents, we're going to talk to them and they're going to get the same information, whether it's now or after the bash or the first week of school. The information is going to be the same. There's not going to be any advantage, because everyone's going to know when the applications are going to be due, and they're all going to be given the same amount of time to submit it. They're all going to be given the same amount of time to join and talk to the community when we set up another special meeting for that. So I just wanted to be out there, because I know there's people that might have it in the back of their minds, and this could be like the little push. Let me think about it. We could just say it could be like a teaser, like, hey, this will be coming up. We will announce the formal dates of when to submit your application, but heads up, these are the positions we need. This is what the positions do, etc. And again, the new parents will get the same information, whether it's now because they're already looking into our social media and our school pages, or after the bash because they go, or that first week of school.
I would be more comfortable with what you just discussed. Can you make a motion for that?
Yeah, I would motion to post on all our school pages, social media, uh, and all the required forums that this will be open up, that there are vacancies in our LSC that will open up soon, and more information about the formal dates to submit applications will be given at a further date.
What was the last part about? Just to sort of in the initial posting that we will have more information in terms of the
And
application
more
process?
info,
Okay.
we will post on our social media, school website, etc.
Mhm.
Information regarding the vacancies we have, what that vacancy or position entails, and that formal information about the process, including the dates of when the applications will be available and have to be handed in, will be provided at a further date.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Now we vote on the motion. Sarah?
Aye.
Ms. Brooks?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
Ms. Holbert?
Aye.
Missing someone. Cindy?
Aye.
Principal Gibson?
Aye.
And it's a yes for me too. Going back to that motion that was just passed, we need to figure out like the wording that would go on that message that will be posted. I don't know if, let me think about this for a second. We could just provide the wording and send it to you, Principal Gibson, so you know what's good. It's basically the description and just like a cheer. Hey, we're here. You're a new LSC. This is what's going to happen. But we'll send it to you so it goes by you, and then the people that have access to our school website and social media pages can post it. Thank you. So the next item is the adoption of the bylaws and establishing the meeting norms. Last year, the LSC made some changes to the bylaws that were approved. I don't know if we have had all the opportunity, well, obviously the past members, so it's Sarah and I. I've had the opportunity to go over the current bylaws. I feel like they have all the information and all the guidelines we need. I don't see from my first read anything that I would suggest on modifying. This was approved and revised by CPS. So I don't know if there's any discussion about the bylaws.
Sarah, have you had a chance to see them?
Sarah?
Yes, I reviewed them. So on first pass, I agree with Ileana. I didn't see anything that jumped out to me, but I would like more time to review more closely. And so I have a question for you, Principal Gibson, and for you, Miss Ford. Is that something that we have to pass tonight, or can we table? Can that be tabled until we have more time to look more closely?
Chair Ileana, I forgot your last name. I'm sorry. Can I be recognized?
Sorry, Ms. Ford.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Yeah, you can table that. You don't have to readopt them or make amendments at this meeting. That can be something that you do at a later time once you had an opportunity to review. And to Cindy's point, there were major revisions a couple years ago. I actually worked with the team when I was in law, and also to Cindy's point, there's provisions around shifting back into in-person, so long as in-person meetings, so long as the order dictated that you had to go to. So the bylaws they looked good when I looked at them a couple years ago. But if you want to look at them again, go right ahead, but you don't have to do that today.
Sarah?
In that case, I motion to defer adopting bylaws tonight until all members have had time to review the current bylaws more closely, to ensure that we like them as is and to make sure that we don't need to make any other amendments.
I would second that motion, Sarah. So let's vote. Cindy,
Aye.
Principal Gibson,
Aye.
Ms. Brooks,
I.
Lori,
I.
Ms. Hulbert,
Aye.
and it's a yes for me too. So we have voted to postpone the adoption of the bylaws until everyone has the opportunity to review and to review them. Do we want to do the same with the meeting norms? I think those are basically included in these. I don't know if you would usually consider them as separate. I would consider, and Ms. Ford, maybe you can help us with that.
I have not seen your meeting norms. Are they the standards to which you conduct your meetings? I hear you all read them before you take certain actions. I'm not sure what you're meeting. You said meeting norms?
Yeah, because the agenda states that we have to adopt the bylaws and establish meeting norms.
So that was a recommendation. Some councils don't have meeting norms. I think your council already has meeting norms, how you will wait to the chair to be recognized. You don't speak over each other. I think you already have meeting norms already. So it's just a matter if you want to readopt them. We added that as like a recommended thing to do because some meetings and councils are off the rails and they don't have like really firm established, this is how we're going to conduct ourselves. You guys already do.
Okay. Any other discussion about Sarah?
Sorry, I was just going to motion to preserve the meeting norms as they stand.
Anyone second the motion?
Second. I'll second.
Thank you, Lori. So now we vote. Cindy,
I.
Principal Gibson,
I would like time to actually review the meeting norms along with the ones that were recently suggested. Sorry, I didn't know if it was going to be up for discussion before she made her motion.
So present your motion.
Yeah.
Okay, can you present what would be your motion, or you want to suggest an amendment for Sarah?
Sarah, can you amend it that we table it so everyone has a chance to not only review the ones that are in the bylaws, but have an opportunity to look at the ones suggested by LSC that I sent? I think it's some that we might want to add in, just knowing how some of the meetings have been.
Sarah?
Okay, I motion to defer adoption of bylaws, excuse me, not the bylaws. Let me start over. I motion to defer adoption of the meeting norms until the entire council is in alignment with how they should look for the next term.
Ms. Hulbert, I saw your hand raised. Is it?
I was just going to agree that we should defer and take a look at them again before we all vote on them. And excuse me for not having them in front of me, but I know this has come up in the past about moving public participation up earlier. I don't know if that is within the norms. And I get that we have to get through our business, but sometimes we have parents who just want to make one statement, have to wait 2+ hours to do that. So I really think we should consider where in the meeting we could have public participation in the future. Thank you.
Sarah?
I agree with that, Emily. I know that's come up a few times. I know I myself have brought that up a couple times. And just off the top of my head, if I recall correctly, that wasn't under meeting norms. I believe that was under bylaws, and that the chair has discretion to adjust where they see fit within the agenda. It just has to be listed in the agenda. But if I did not state that correctly. Please feel free to correct me, anyone, if I'm wrong on that.
Did anyone second the amended
Not yet.
motion?
Not
You
yet.
did?
But I'll second it. So we vote. Cindy,
Aye.
Principal Gibson,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Ms. Brooks,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Ms. Holbert,
Aye.
and it's aye for me too. Okay, so the next item is FOT and fundraising. I see we have Patty here. The LSC was promptly emailed a request, a proposal for a fundraiser. Patty, if you want to describe it and talk to us about it, please.
Hi guys. It's the 16th annual fun run. You know what? I didn't print up the sheet. I'm not prepared. I'm so sorry. But it's the same one that we have done the last number of years. It will be hosted again by Booster, which was agreed on by FOT. We voted on that and agreed that we would like to work with Booster again, as they have increased our numbers for fundraising over the last number of years that we've worked with them, and we're very impressed with that. So we would like to get approval to do that same fundraiser again at Tubman, outside of the building, where the students can participate and parents can come watch if able. And it's a fun day for, you know, it's a community building day in a way with the students at the start of the year, as well as a way to get our um, family members and caregivers involved in the school as well. Oh, sorry. The date of it, the event is October, the date that we are proposing is October 7th again, which is basically the same time as it was last year.
Thank you, Patty. Any discussion about the fundraising proposal presented by FOT? So I would motion to approve.
Approve.
Approve, sorry, the FOT fundraising proposal for the fun run to be held on October 7th, 2022.
I
I'll
second.
second.
Thank you. Now we vote. Cindy,
Aye.
Principal Gibson,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Ms. Brooks,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Ms. Hulbert,
Aye.
and a yes from me too. So the fundraiser is approved. Thank you, Patty and FOT. Yeah, Ms. Ford.
Hi, thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. I have a quick question, just as a point of order. The proposal document was sent to you where it shows the wonderful. That's awesome. Some councils don't get it; and they just do the verbal, and they haven't seen the wonderful. You guys are on point. Thank you. That's awesome.
No,
And
I mentioned that it was promptly sent to LSC members
wonderful.
within the required time frame.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then also wanted to recognize the principal for always reminding us that before we vote, we got to discuss. So it should be a discussion and then a voting. So thank you for
Reminding me that.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, LSC. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we go to public participation. I don't know if Cindy, you want to read our disclaimer for public participation, please? Do you have it in front of you? It's in the agenda. You're on mute.
Okay, here we go. Members of the public are welcome to make comments and ask questions, but must sign in to participate. The public is called upon to speak in the order they sign in. The public is kindly requested to limit their comments and questions to 3 minutes. Based on the comments or questions, the principal may address some concerns directly, and if necessary, create an action step for the LSC to follow up with the involved parties at a future date. While the LSC will do its best to address any comments or questions, when necessary, more time may be needed to adequately address a particular concern.
Okay, question. Principal Gibson, yeah.
No members signed up for public participation.
Was the sign up available? Because I do have knowledge that some
Yes,
parents.
it was. As soon as I got an email, we opened up the sign up for public participation.
Because I mean, I have knowledge of at least 2 parents that said they signed up. So I'm not sure. Well, I see Patty like saying that she had signed up. I don't know. I don't have access to the sign up, so I don't know. And I know it's usually Mr. Hall that gets all that info. But I do know that there are parents that signed up. So I don't know where their sign up got to.
Do you receive the sign up, Principal Gibson?
So when I was made aware that the sign-in wasn't working, I created a Google form, and it's linked to the website, and there are 0 people signed up.
Can we have some people? We have some people raising their hands. Can we just answer a couple of questions? Because I feel like that was confusing. Would that be okay by the council?
The people that I see parents. The parents raising their hands. Are you saying that you signed up with the form or the link by the website? The form.
I signed up using the form.
The Google
I-
form.
I
that was
did as
linked
well.
On the homepage.
Yep, me too.
Okay,
Same.
Principal Gibson, is there any way to? I don't know, Miss Holbert. Do you have any insight on this?
No, I was just gonna say, I'm sorry, because sometimes Mr. Hall gives me access when he's unable to attend, but he did not. Probably not the right time or space, but I just wanted to suggest that maybe we come up with a process in the future where the sign up is through like the LSC. Sorry, I have children in the background. Where the sign up's through like the LSC Gmail account, so that like it's transparent and everyone on the LSC is able to see who signed up or something, because this has come up in the past, even before Miss Gibson, about like some confusion with the signups. So maybe that could be something we can address for this school year as well when we discuss our bylaws and norms.
Yes. Ms. Ford, I have a question. Obviously, you've heard the maybe glitch or something that we are encountering with public participation, and we have parents here that have stated that they did sign up with the form. We don't know the technical thing that might have occurred. Is there a way we could motion to vote regarding letting them have their public participation time? Is there something I can't, like, from the top of my head, I can't remember if there's something in the guidance about this, but could you help us with this or maybe provide a solution? We wouldn't want like the parents not to be able to address their concerns or questions or comments or whatever.
Right. I mean, you all can absolutely, given the glitch and the confusion of the links, you can absolutely allow them to speak. If they raise their hands, you can do it in the order in which they raise their hands, given the glitch, because you don't want to penalize people for confusion. And public comment is something that is required, and you do have people that signed up, but for the confusion, the links, they weren't allowed to, but just let them speak. You said there are 3 people, right?
I see 4.
Okay. Yeah, just keep to your time. No more than 3
Okay.
minutes, but you got
So
4.
do we have to motion about this?
I mean, it was a glitch. No one has access. They're here. We're not going to turn them away. Public.
Okay, I just wanted to be like,
oh yeah,
like
yeah,
we follow the rules. Okay, so given the situation, we're gonna open up the public participation part of our meeting. And then I would ask Cindy, could you time this because it's the 3 minutes? Can you please help us with the timing of the comments?
Yep.
And then from what I recall, I saw Cynthia, Patty, Dana, and Charlotte in that order. So Cindy, let us know when you're ready so we can start with Cynthia.
I'm ready.
And again, thank you all for being so patient with this situation. And thank you, Ms. Ford, for allowing us to have our parents voice their whatever they want to voice. Okay, Cynthia. Cindy's ready.
Hi, thank you. I just need to get to my email where I typed it up and sent it to Cindy earlier. One moment, please. Okay. Hello, I am Cynthia Chernoff, parent of rising sixth grader Campbell. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight, especially with the confusion. Like many parents I have spoken to since late May, I have strong concerns about the state of the school staffing for next year. To the best of my recollection, I checked the minutes, but they aren't up for these meetings, and I couldn't get the relevant meeting to play where I am. So forgive me if I'm making any factual errors here, but as I recall, at the June 1st LSC, Ms. Gibson assured attendees that she had already started to interview candidates, and she shared a hiring process document. She also said that she would form a hiring committee that would include representatives from the teaching and parent community, and she also assured the community that information would be shared regularly. I have attended every meeting since then, and at the very last of these meetings, just a couple of weeks ago, no one in attendance, including the LSC, had any news about any of these action items. And the general consensus on that meeting was that few or no hires had been made. And I know we're all aware of this. We are 5 weeks out from the beginning of the academic year, and urgency of our hiring needs increases every day. So I respectfully request that Principal Gibson please fully update the school community about the state of filling all the staffing vacancies, including how many have yet to be filled. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Cynthia. Patty.
Thank you. Actually, that was first on my list. So thank you, Cynthia. You just saved me a couple minutes of speaking that. I just wanted to know if there were any staff hire updates and if there was any news on the fifth grade getting a second classroom, any of that information. But Cynthia said it better than me, so I'll just leave it at that. My second point I did want to let you guys all know, which I forgot to say during my FOT point, but for our diverse learners, we did have an event on June 26th. Brittany Kiersey, Kim Beck, Gia Super arranged this amazing event for the diverse learners, and just under $9,000 was raised, which was amazing. So I wanted to just share that. It was some good news. And then lastly, I did want to mention about I'm glad you guys decided to hold off on the meeting norms discussion, because our previous norms were made by the previous administration, and some of, we never had the norms in that way in terms of public participation, as Ms. Hulbert pointed out. I do think that a consideration should be made to have two public participations, as I see at many other schools, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end of the meeting, to give parents a chance who aren't able to stay for full 2-hour meetings and just want to get something off their chest or have a question. So I would like you guys to consider that when you're considering that meeting norm, as well as, the hard and fast rule of the 3 minutes. Perhaps when, a parent is very emotional or, wants to continue speaking, perhaps they don't have to get cut off if there's only a few parents signed up to speak and it's not, you guys can let that person go a little bit longer. And also, if the principal and or council members could respond immediately following the public participation when they know the answers, it would be helpful. I mean, after the person speaks, sorry. So if I'm speaking and I have a question about something specific, instead of having to wait to listen to everyone else's speak, we could kind of address things as they're coming through. It's just a suggestion. Obviously, the council will decide, but I just wanted to point out that our meeting norms were determined by our previous administration and previous LSC council. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Patty. Dana?
Hi, thanks, Ileana. And by the way, you're crushing it, girl. You're hitting it out of the park tonight. So don't worry, you guys are doing great. Welcome to the new members. I just wanted to tag on to what Patty was saying, and thank you all for talking about public participation tonight. I attend 2 LSC meetings monthly because I have kids at another school, and so I can attest to the fact that the way our public participation is set up is not the way it is set up at every school. And to Ms. Ford's point, I know sometimes it can probably be a free for all and it's not always productive. So I understand, the meeting norms, but to Patty's point, the public participation as it's set up now was created by not the previous LSC even, but the one before that. So no one who currently sits on this LSC was on that LSC. Except for Mr. Hall. And so I think this council has a great opportunity to not only create new meeting norms, but to set the culture for what those meeting norms mean. The reasons behind why the public participation is set up was truly to silence the community. And so I think that if you're interested in parent feedback, if you're interested in equity, if you're interested in the community being a part of these meetings, then I think setting up meeting norms that allow for multiple public participations, allowing the chat to be open, and utilizing that sergeant at arms, which one of Mac's responsibilities was to monitor the chat and to try and make sure that people were being civil and respectful, as we all should be, no matter what. And so I would just kindly ask the council to consider some of these suggestions around public participation going forward. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dana. Charlotte?
Hi, I'm going to keep my camera off because I'm just going to read because I'm better that way. Hope everyone is enjoying a nice summer. Thank you for doing all of the hard work to better our school, and I'm grateful for your commitment. Just wanted to quickly say that I, along with several other families through FOT, have been hosting play dates for incoming kindergarten families. So just in light of the discussion around making the process for new LSC candidates inclusive, if there's anything that I can provide, where you are giving out name tags, and we've had people coming, and so if there's anything that I can provide and make, kind of get ahead of that, I'd be happy to do that. So I realize this is an organizational meeting without formal reports, but I had a whole bunch of questions that were on my mind, so I made a list, and I'm just going to pose them in hopes, not necessarily that they get answered right now, but that future meetings and communications might address. All of my questions seem to center on communication. So along with posing the questions, I also just wanted to reiterate my commitment to helping administration, LSC, whomever, with communications, outreach, marketing, wherever I can. The first thing I want to talk about was that 5 Essentials survey. I was really disappointed to see that Tubman's response rate on this important survey was too low for any results to be shared. Just in my experience, companies pay an unbelievable amount of money for the opportunity to survey customers, to learn and improve, and it feels like a huge missed opportunity for Tubman, and especially during a year when we spent so much time talking about budgets and recruitment. It feels disappointing for prospective families to see apathy from our community, as that's definitely not my experience. So I think there's so much room to better promote and incentivize participation so we can really learn moving forward. Next, staffing, just reiterate what others have said. We spent so much time talking about staffing turnover and hiring plans, so I hope a community-wide update can be shared soon. In early June, I think it was dated the 10th, an open letter was signed by a large number of teachers and staff members, was circulated, and contained a number of recommendations on how to improve community relations, equity work at Tubman. And so
30
just curious,
Charlotte?
Oh no, I have so much more to say. Okay. I will go to enrollment and recruitment. There's been so much focus on this topic, and so just wondering if we can receive any kind of an update, and especially if there's anything going on around the second chance lottery. And I guess that's all I have time to say, so I'll send the rest of them in an email. Thank you all so much for your time. I know that this is an incredibly difficult job. Thank you to the new LSC members for stepping in and hitting the ground running, and continue to believe that open, clear communication is what's going to bring us together and grow this place. So let me know if I can help.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Charlotte.
Sheila. Um, Principal Gibson, I give you a turn if you want to address any of the questions.
Are we done with public participation?
I believe those were the 4 parents that raised their hands.
Okay, thank
I
you.
don't see anyone else.
I just saw a couple hands still up, and I didn't know if they were up because they had something additional. I want to thank everybody for your feedback. You have given this LSC, including me, a lot of things to think about as we come up with and establish new meeting norms, as well as establishing meeting norms, not just for public participation, but that reflect this council and what we need at this time. So we will be reviewing the suggestions from the LSC relations, along with taking everything you said into consideration as we move forward. As far as staffing, we will have, I would like to address Cynthia. Our last regular meeting was that June 1st meeting. So at regular meetings, every month is when I address on enrollment and hiring. Our June 10th meeting was a special meeting just to vote on CIWP, but we had began the hiring process. As of now, we have filled over half those positions. I would like to share members of this sitting council have participated as members of the hiring team, as well as other family members. And we are wrapping up, so I am excited. I think that we'll have some wonderful news to share at the August 3rd meeting of how many of almost completely filling every position. We are in some of the last rounds. We currently have already hired someone for the 4th grade position, the 3rd grade position, the 6th grade position, 2 diverse learner teachers, and a SICA. We are in the process of hiring somebody for the 7th, and we've currently interviewed over 4 people for the 2 open diverse learner positions. And we have 2 finalists for the restorative justice coordinator that we interviewed last week, and we're waiting on reference checks. So we are in that process. I thank you, and we will have an update again by August 3rd.
Thank you, Principal Gibson. I had a couple of questions myself, most about staffing you already answered. So can we say that by that August 3rd meeting, we will have like a clearer picture of what's left and what's been already finalized?
Yes, it's also my goal at the August 3rd meeting to share a org chart so you can see what positions people are in, as well to share that with the council.
Okay, and is there a plan come August 3rd and there are vacancies still? Do you have a plan to fill those positions before the school starts? Or if they can't be filled, a plan on how we are gonna work with the students or whatever the positions are?
So currently in our plan, we will have all the positions filled. The only 2 that we are not in the final rounds for is the 7th grade position and a miscellaneous position, which is someone to work in an office. So those are the ones we're not in final rounds for, but the rest of them we are in final rounds. And again, we've already hired, we've had some people hired through administrative transfers as well.
Okay, so just to confirm, we already have the 4th grade teacher, 3rd grade teacher, 6th grade, 2 diverse learners, and a SICA. We have 2 finalists for the restorative justice position, and we're waiting for the 7th grade, as you said, and that miscellaneous position. Are all the diverse learner positions filled then?
We are still, no, I just shared that we have 2 diverse learner positions that we have currently been interviewing for last week. We are still in the interview process of the hiring process. So we've had first rounds and second rounds. We are now in the third round.
Okay, but the ones that, I'm sorry, I just want to like get my table so I can cross check when that August 3rd meeting. We already have the candidate offered position for a fourth grade teacher. Is that correct? Okay, third grade,
Correct.
sixth grade,
Correct.
2 diverse learner positions
Already filled.
already filled, and a SICA.
Yes.
Those are offers made, signed, sealed, delivered.
Yes.
Okay, so we're waiting on the 7th grade, 2 other DL positions, 2 finalists for the restorative justice, and the miscellaneous position.
Correct.
That's what we're waiting on. That they may be filled by August 3rd, right?
Yes, it is our goal to have it. That is our timeline that we are shooting for
Okay, perfect. That's good.
prior
then-
to the August 3rd, so I can fill you guys in by August 3rd.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. And then this is a question I've been asked a lot. Will the class list be distributed on that August 13 bash or welcome back activity?
We're shooting for the week prior to school starting, so somewhere around there. I don't have an exact date yet.
Okay. Do we have a current status of the enrollment in the school? I know we've talked about offers were made, and I know that you said you couldn't give us numbers because until the person goes in the office to register, and that's totally reasonable. Do we have a new number of current enrollment in the school?
So again, thank you for public participation. I'm going to update you guys on August 3rd. Charlotte is currently on here. That has been an issue. Parents have accepted the offer but have not came in. So we just updated the website as of today, sharing dates that parents can come in to do the registration with our clerk that she's available.
Okay, and then has there been any talks about extracurricular activities for the next school year? We know about the new after school company or provider. A lot of parents are very excited about that. They have great reviews and etc. But we've been asked about like other programs like Girl Scouts, band, sports, Girls on the Run, etc. Have there been any talks about this for next school year?
Is that your last question?
It is.
Okay, because I just wanted to wait till I heard everything. I will defer and get back to you on that question of other extracurricular. We're still planning.
Thank you. Sarah?
Hi, thank you to all the public participants for sharing your thoughts and your time with us. I just want to explicitly state that we do take public participation really seriously, and I think the current council seems really well positioned to be really intentional about how we revise our bylaws to reflect that. And in speaking to the bylaws, before I was elected to the LSC, I had trouble finding them. They weren't posted anywhere on the website. So I would like to discuss with the council, making sure that those bylaws are available to the community via the LSC page on the Tubman website. If that's something that we could commit to doing, I think it would really help the community feel engaged. And I think it's just great for everyone to be able to refer to as they attend and participate in our meetings.
Thank you, Sarah. I don't know if there's any other council member that wants to address any issue. If there's not, this concludes the public participation part. And then our next point would be to announce our first regular virtual meeting date, which has been set as August 3rd. Yes, Cindy?
Do you want to go down, kind of match action items to drive the next agenda now? Or Do you feel good about sort of, do you feel like you have a good list of action items?
I think going by the motion, I mean, it's up for discussion, obviously, but going by the motions we have, they're very clear and specific, and we are going to be updated on all the other topics by Principal Gibson on August 3rd.
Okay.
So I think the action items will be regarding those motions, and the report will receive an updated report from Principal Gibson. I think the agenda would be, it's pretty self-made with those motions and what we're expecting from the update. I don't know if any other fellow member wants to discuss this, but I feel we have, with all the motions and the update, I think we will have a lot to cover and to plan from that.
Okay, just want to make sure that you feel comfortable that we've got them all. And if we need to compare notes after the meeting, that's fine as well.
Thank you, Cindy. Principal Gibson?
I know we're down to the last agenda item, and I just wanted to be recognized by you so I could speak really quick just to remind the council. Please send me your updated contact information so I can update the LSC dashboard. And in that email, also share if you consent for your email or all of your contact information to be shared with other members of the council.
Thank you, Principal Gibson. Ms. Holbert?
With the email conversation that Principal Gibson's mentioning, it reminds me that we had an LSC Gmail account that I believe the former chair, Tina Kingholder, was responsible for. So I just wanted to make sure that someone else has access to that now, or we can reach out to her and get it transferred over to you, Ileana, and that we're making sure we have an email that we can all share like that for the future, so that there's transparency all the way around. Thank you.
Yes,
Ileana, just to share. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Principal Gibson, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, just to share, I've been in contact with Tina so we can shut that one down and we can discuss that at a later meeting because that's not an agenda item, but it is something we need to discuss. And for transparency, so other people have access and not just one person. I totally agree with that.
I agree with that too. Okay, so we are officially announcing our first regular virtual meeting will be held on August 3rd at 6 p.m. It will be posted on all the corresponding forums as required. And our next point is the adjournment.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
I second.
Do we have to vote on the adjournment too? We do. Cindy. Thank you for helping me. Cindy?
First of all, yay, you're doing an amazing job. You just, talk about getting thrown to the fire. You're doing that. So, aye.
Principal Gibson?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Ms. Brooks?
Aye.
Ms. Holbert?
Aye.
I don't see Lori, but I think she was on her phone and maybe her phone died or something. So
yep, turn.
I mean, it's an yes for me too. The meeting is officially adjourned. I want to thank you all for bearing with me, and I'm very excited of what's to come. Remember, we can do hard things, and we are going to do them. Thank you, Principal Gibson.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.